Listen to the thunder rolling somewhere past the ridge. Feel the rope ladder swaying slightly under your weight. Notice the lanterns swinging beside you, small circles of light moving slowly over the wet bark. Somewhere below, a branch creaks and settles under the weight of the wind. 3 weeks into the monitoring season, and the first real storm of it is finally arriving, right as you're climbing into the canopy with a data satchel over one shoulder. The canopy station network was built here over 20 years by a biologist named Reyes. 6 platforms strung through the reserve, each one logging rainfall and temperature for a project that outlived the man who started it. Platform 4 is the oldest and biggest of the 6, built up around the fork of a strangler fig, whose roots have grown wide enough over the decades to form a kind of staircase of their own at the base. You've been climbing between stations every 3rd day since the season began, swapping data cards, checking gauges, mostly bored, mostly dry. Tonight, the radio at base camp crackled a warning an hour before you left the last platform. Storm cell forming fast over the valley, moving your direction. Get to shelter. Platform 4 was the closest real shelter, so platform 4 is where you're headed. The fig's roots rise around the trunk in thick woody ribs, wide enough in places to walk on, and a rope ladder strung between 2 of the higher ones climbs the last stretch up to the house itself. Lanterns hang along the ladder's full length, spaced every 10 feet or so, swaying now in the wind, picking up ahead of the storm, throwing small circles of orange light across the wet bark as you climb. The rungs are damp under your hands by the second lantern. Canopy leaves above already dripping ahead of the main storm, fat individual drops finding gaps in the cover and landing hard enough to sting. Below you, the forest floor has disappeared into shadow. A troop of howler monkeys, somewhere off to your left, has gone completely silent, which after 3 weeks out here, you've learned to read as its own kind of warning. The house itself comes into view before you're even fully up the ladder, and it's bigger than you remember from your one previous visit, spread across the fork of the fig, in a way that makes the tree look like it grew specifically to hold this shape. A deep veranda wraps the entire lower floor, railed in weathered wood, hung with lanterns at regular intervals along its length. A second story rises above the porch roof at one end, a single window glowing gold up there already, thatch sloping steeply over both levels in thick overlapping layers that have clearly been rebuilt many times across many seasons. You reach the veranda just as the first real gust hits the canopy, leaves turning silver side up in a wave that moves across the treetops like something alive. The main door gives onto a room far larger than a research platform has any right to be, timber framed, floored in wide planks worn smooth down the center from years of foot traffic. You haul yourself through and drop the satchel just inside, breathing harder than a climb this short should leave you. Outside, the wind picks up fast, the whole structure creaking faintly as the fig it's built into sways with the gust. Lanterns along the veranda, swinging on their hooks. Rain starts properly a minute later, not a buildup, just a switch flipped, sudden and total, drumming against the thick thatch overhead loud enough that you have to raise your voice to hear your own thoughts. You move along the row of windows, shuttering each one against the wind, latching each with a wooden peg worn smooth from years of exactly this motion. Through the last window before you close it, the veranda lanterns are still swinging, throwing long moving shadows across the boards outside. The instruments are the actual job tonight, and you know it, even with the storm doing everything it can to make you forget that. A rain gauge sits bolted to the veranda rail, funnel pointed skyward, already filling fast in the downpour, and beside it, a second device you haven't dealt with before, a hand-cranked pulley system running a line up through a gap in the thatch to something on the roof itself. Ray's notes mentioned this platform had an old rooftop collector, something he'd rigged before the official gauges were installed, but you'd never actually seen it working. You crank the pulley slowly, feeling resistance, then give, then the soft scrape of something sliding into place above your head. A wide leaf-shaped funnel emerges through the thatch gap, angled by the crank mechanism to catch runoff and channel it down a bamboo pipe into a barrel lashed against the inside wall of the main room. Water starts finding its way down the pipe almost immediately, a thin, steady stream hitting the barrel with a sound like someone tapping a drum with one finger over and over. Beside the barrel, a wooden crate holds a stack of old logbooks, their covers swollen soft from years of humidity. You open the top one out of pure curiosity, while the barrel fills behind you, pages dense with handwriting in two different hands, one careful and slanted, one faster and looser, clearly written years apart. Rain collector operational as of March. The careful hand reads, built from Anna's design, tested through first storm of the season, second floor bedroom finished the following autumn. Same log continues, though the entry doesn't say who finished it or why it mattered enough to note down. Someone named Anna designed this collector decades before you climbed up here tonight, and it's still catching rain exactly the way she meant it to. You set the logbook aside and check the official rain gauge readings against your data card, numbers climbing fast now as the storm properly settles over the canopy. The whole house sways again, gentler this time, the fig absorbing the wind the way something this old is clearly built to. A soft rustling near the porch beam draws your eye before you've even fully registered the sound. A two-toed sloth has apparently claimed the outer railing just past the nearest lantern, unbothered by the noise of the storm or your arrival, moving with the unhurried patience of something that has never once in its life needed to be anywhere in a hurry. It blinks at you slowly through the shuttered gap, decides you're not worth further attention, and goes back to whatever it was doing before you climbed in. Somewhere out in the rain, an owl calls twice, muffled almost completely by the thatch and the downpour, and the sloth's ear twitches once in acknowledgement before going still again. With the instruments running and the collector doing its job, you finally take stock of the rest of the house properly. A narrow stair climbs from the main room to the second floor, and you follow it up out of curiosity, finding a small bedroom under the steep part of the roof, a hammock slung between two beams, a single window looking straight out into the wet canopy. Back downstairs, a gas ring sits bolted to a shelf near the barrel, a kettle beside it, a tin of cocoa powder with a lid that doesn't quite seal anymore. You fill the kettle from the barrel itself, water still running steadily down the bamboo pipe behind you, and set it on the ring. While the water heats, the radio at your hip crackles to life. Base camp checking in on schedule despite the weather. Platform 4, you copy. A voice asks, half lost under static. Copy, you answer. Made it up before the worst of it hit. Collectors running. Numbers look good so far. A short pause, then a laugh through the static. Ray's would be pleased. Anna's rig's still earning its keep after all these years. Looks that way, you say, and that's most of the conversation. The radio going quiet again a moment later, as base camp moves on to the next check-in on their list. The kettle whistles thin and high over the sound of the rain, and you make the cocoa strong, stirring it with the same wooden spoon that's clearly been doing this exact job for longer than you've had this posting. You climb back up to the second floor room with the mug held in both hands, warmth spreading slowly back into fingers that had gone stiff on the climb up. The sloth hasn't moved from its railing outside the shuttered window below. One arm draped loosely over the wood, entirely unconcerned with the storm continuing to work itself out against the canopy on every side of this house. Rain keeps finding the leaf funnel on the roof, channeling down through the bamboo pipe. In a steady, unbroken thread, you can still hear from up here, filling the barrel a little further with every passing minute. Through the small window beside the hammock, one veranda lantern is just visible below, swaying gently now instead of swinging, its light catching individual raindrops as they fall past it. It never stops, never speeds up, never slows. Just a lantern swaying on its hook and rain falling steadily through the light it throws over and over. The storm outside has settled into something less violent now, still heavy, still loud against the thatch, but steadier, more like weather than event. Your cocoa has gone from too hot to drink to exactly right, and you drink it slowly, watching that lantern below sway and catch the falling rain, Each time, it passes through the light. Somewhere below, the sloth shifts once on the rail, repositioning an arm, then goes still again, breathing slow and even beneath the sound of the rain. Lantern light, rain falling through it, swaying gently away, then back again. Lantern light, rain falling through it, swaying away, then back. You settle fully into the hammock, pulling a folded blanket up over your shoulders. As the whole house sways gently in a gust that's mostly spent its force by the time it reaches this high. The rain gauge outside will keep its own count through the night, filling by fractions, needing nothing more from you until morning. The collector barrel below keeps filling too, that same steady thread finding its way down through the dark house beneath you. Your eyes are heavier now than the climb up should have made them. The rain has settled into a rhythm you could set a clock by if you needed one. The lantern below sways once more through the window. Then again. Then you've stopped counting. The strangler fig holds its ground the way it has through decades of storms, exactly like this one. And tonight, high inside the house built into the heart of it, so do you.